Hello, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the atrophy. So, what is the atrophy? Atrophy means the decrease of the muscle mass. It is also known as the hypertrophy rather than the hypertrophy. So, previous video we was discussing about the hypertrophy. In this video, we will understand about the atrophy. Atrophic stimuli will trigger the muscle cell to shrink and even degenerate. The basically cause of the atrophy is the nutritional deficiency due to the low macromolecules and fry and sugary containing diet and high fatty food. In this way, the daily snacking and no fasting also trigger the atrophy. So shrinkage of the muscle, so no muscle mass. This is the person which that eating that food containing deficiency of iron and the deficiency of vitamins, basically the vitamin E, vitamin K and vitamin E, vitamin C. So the deficiency of traces like the trace mineral and the stress and anxiety due to this food eating habit. The blood circulatory system contains a lot of lipids is hyperlipidemia, hypercholesteremia, high cholesterol and hyperglycemia. Why hyperglycemia? Because insulin resistance if you are type 2 diabetes mellitus. On the other hand, the IGF-1 and growth hormone deficiency due to the overeating and no fasting. On the other hand, the fat basically deposit the sugar in the form of triacylglycerol due to the insulin sensitivity, but the insulin resistance in the muscle is known as the type 1 type 2 diabetes mellitus progression stage. So in this way the insulin resistance will lead to absorb the glucose in the fat in the adipocyte. So obesity due to insulin resistance will lead to atrophy. So atrophy means the decrease of the muscle mass, but in the cell the myofiber contain nuclei which that will constant and remain constant during the atrophy. Muscle size decrease due to the atrophy, muscle weakness and neuropathy and myopathy due to the diabetes or other factors. Neuropathy means the neurodegeneration, bacterial infection, neurogenesis decrease and lack of exercise. Because BDNF will decrease is known as the decrease of the neurogenesis. Lack of exercise and lack of sleep. This lack of exercise and lack of sleep will trigger the muscle mass decrease. Because muscle mass requires the sleep, exercise for the breakdown of the muscle fiber will lead to grow more during the sleep. So the inhibition of muscle mass. The muscle mass decrease due to the number of nuclei not decrease and muscle memory develop if previous muscle develop. So you can reverse it via exercise, diet and sleep. Remember that things if you are not complicated due to the disease, if you are a normal. So exercise, nutrition and sleep will trigger the lipolysis. Lipolysis will enter the lipid in the blood will become a low density lipoprotein, but low density lipoprotein go into the liver through good eating habit plus fasting will lead to increase the cholesterol in the liver and that cholesterol go into the blood circulatory system, but hypercholesteremia will use in the Leydig cell of the testes to produce testosterone. So for female in the ovary estrogen. It is used for the inhibit the muscle loose and increase the muscle mass. If you will proper working with the diet, exercise and sleep. So the daytime activity we will discuss and insomnia, the sleeplessness will occur how? So the daytime activity is basically stressful if, so in this way when you will not sleep, obviously the daytime job problem like stress during the job time and stress due to the mobile using throughout the night and stress due to the genetic disorder or epigenetic factors and environmental factors like mobile. So this we are not understanding with the detail, but just you can understand that the genetic factor also involving for the atrophy. So in this way, the daytime activity will lead to stress, and during recovery, the catabolism will occur because you are not sleeping. So the sympathetic nervous system activates. Sympathetic nervous system is more catabolic due to the stress, depression, anxiety, which that trigger the hypothalamus of the hypothalamus will release the corticotropic releasing factor, and this corticotropic releasing factor trigger the adenohypophysis of the pituitary will lead to corticotropic releasing hormone produced will target to the adrenal gland to the produce the cortisol from the adrenal cortex, lead to catabolism and stress. In this way, this is the positive feedback loop will occur if the chronic depression, anxiety, and sympathetic nervous system activation during the daytime and less activity, less work. In this way, when you will less active and less work and no exercise during daytime and eating bad sugary food, depression and anxiety will trigger ultimately when you eat bad sugary food and other diseases cause like autoimmune disorder. In this way, during recovery and catabolism occur during the recovery. How insomnia will occur the sleeplessness due to the stress and mobile using throughout the night, bad eating habit, watching mobile, long night working and no exercise, not recovery, not lipolysis will occur. Sympathetic nervous system activation will lead to no eating desires because the parasympathetic nervous system suppress. The chronic sugar eating will lead to atrophy because the insulin resistance ultimately. Remember that thing. Because the insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes mellitus will occur due to this habit. If you will reverse it, so you can against this activity. Daily sleep is important, daily exercise is important, and daily eating good healthy food is important. Let's understand about the atrophy factors, so stimuli, atrophic stimuli, and the cellular signaling pathway. This is the myofiber membrane and the extracellular matrix and intracellular matrix, and this is the plasma membrane. Remember that thing of the muscle fiber. This is the growth factors like IGF-1 and insulin. Basically, it will target for normally if you are understanding with the development of the muscle and growth of the muscle. So let's understand about first the growth of the muscle. It will activate the insulin receptor substrate 1, which that trigger and also the IGF-1 trigger the PI3K pathway will lead to cascade of phosphorylation of AKT to mTOR activation. This mTOR activate to Richter and Raptor protein binding with the mTOR complex 2 type, which that function is the different regard to the synthesis of protein. The myosin and actin protein and other statin and troponin protein synthesis will occur. This mTOR pathway will trigger while the SHC to RAS phosphorylation will activate the RAF to MEC activation to ARC will lead to same protein synthesis but the different manner. Remember that things. And this all things is used for the muscle growth. So but this all because the insulin resistance and no eating good healthy food with containing rich protein. So the myostatin is the protein group of protein is the factor for the degradation of the muscle fiber due to the nutrition deficiency like malnutrition and diabetes and aging because your cell is in the form of hyponatremia. So malnutrition, diabetes and aging, which that basically not ATP more because remember that thing basically glucose is not moving inside because the insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. In this way the AMPK pathway will increase due to the deficiency of ATP and reactive oxygen species will produce because the aerobic respiration will not occur easily in the mitochondria. The inhibition will occur due to the myostatin of the insulin receptor substrate 1 will inhibit will lead to not grow But also this inhibits the myogenic genes which that contain actin and myosin as well as titin and troponin production. So in this way the sarcomere will be degraded. Deficiency of the sarcomere ultimately the atrophy because the myofiber will be containing less myosin and actin. On the other hand, it will trigger myostatin, MAF-BX and MARF1 protein, which that is trigger the FOXO1 and 2,3 gene activation. AMPK also trigger due to the deficiency of ATP will lead to apoptotic factors like the protein degradation, proteasome formation and autophagy trigger. Caspase-3 and calpain will increase and FOXO1, 2, 3 will trigger basically these all genes protein synthesis. And in this way, basically it will lead to muscle atrophy. So remember that thing. On the other hand, the reactive oxygen species will release the pro-apoptotic factor. This pro-apoptotic factor release of pro-apoptotic factor basically release pro-apoptotic factor will trigger the muscle atrophy because the apoptosis will occur. So in this way, the apoptosis of the muscle fiber will decrease even nuclei, but if not, so shrinkage of the muscle fiber will reverse, but the degradation and apoptosis of the muscle fiber will not again recovery easily. I hope you make sense about this. In this video, we have discussed about the atrophy and atrophic factor and how it can trigger and how it can reverse it. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. For this, bye. Allah Hafiz.